Hey, this is Jamie Stegmeyer from Stillmeyer Games, and you are watching the Beans and Dice podcast.
But we just finished the game of Whistle Stop. It's a Bezier Games designed by Scott Caputo, and it is a 2 to 5 player pick up and deliver-ish.
Yeah, there's a little bit of stock manipulation, stock trading going on, or stock acquisition, I guess we could call it. But yeah, there's a pick up and deliver, some resource management. You're getting resources, gathering cubes, gathering resources as you go, and then you're trying to get to endpoints. I guess they're little cities or towns to trade them in. So
I didn't call them cubes.
They didn't call them cubes. Oh,
No, because they were, Rob called them brown
blue
cubes
and brown cubes and red cubes, and I don't care what the rest they are, but that's what they are.
No, the resources that you're picking up come in either common or rare. The common ones are white for cotton, brown for lumber, gray for gravel. The rare ones are blue for steel, red for cattle, for beef, and then green for whiskey. And in honor of green for whiskey, I've made sure to bring our very own whiskey to enjoy with the game. So we've been moving some whiskey around, some more than others.
Yeah.
And in this game, you're going to pick up and deliver. You're going to lay tiles to create new routes. You're going to end up on spots and locations that let you trade in those resources for victory points and for shares in different train companies. And at the end of the game, you're going to score based on those shares. Now, it's going to impact how many points you get.
Yeah, it's kind of a point salad at the end. We talked about that a little bit. It's at the end. You're scoring actually for everything. You're scoring for your shares. You're scoring for your leftover resources. You're scoring for any coal. You normally use coal and whistles in the game to move around. But if you have extra of those left at the end, you're scoring points for those. You're getting points for some upgrade tiles that you can acquire throughout the game. So you're getting points for a whole lot of different stuff at the end. Yeah.
I like that, how everything gave you points. So it wasn't one of these games where certain items don't give you anything at the end of the game. Right. Everything you had left on your tableau gave you something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it didn't feel like it was a mistake picking up something on the way in that maybe you weren't going to burn.
Yeah. Might as well grab it if you can.
Right. Grab it on the way in. Yeah. Because this is going to be worth points later.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, when you were playing, you were first player and you just shot straight to the end, and first player never changes.
Right. It's interesting. It's always whoever starts first is always first. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. And you set the pace and we were allowed to go our own pace. You went straight there. So we knew that we can go slower to try to get as many points as we went in, as opposed to just going straight in.
Yeah.
I
think that would balance the game out a little bit for those who goes first player.
You know, I've never played before, so I wasn't sure what would be the right way to do it.
Yeah, with one play, it'd be hard for me to tell what the better strategy was, but yeah.
My thought process, William, in doing that was, if I can get a train or a couple of trains off of the West Coast, right? Because it's a transcontinental railroad. You're getting across from the east all the way to the west trying to deliver goods. If I can get a train to the end tile and off the board, now my coal that I get every round, which stays the same no matter how many trains I have on the board, I have less that I have to distribute, right? There's less trains that are requiring coal. So now I can focus on some of the other trains and bring them forward.
Right. That's a good thought too. On the flip side of that, though, with the less trains, you have a little less ability to get the resource cubes that you need, because if you got more trains on the board, you've got more options of where you can go to pick up a red cube or a blue cube, or, I'm going to keep calling them colored cubes. But so you do limit yourself by that. So, but racing across, as you pointed out, as you got there conveniently, was that the first ones, the resource spots that you can take by getting your train across to the west and taking it off the board. When you get to the end, you take it off the board and you claim a resource location, but there are some that are definitely better than others. And so if you get those the first 3 trains have a little bit of an edge on the next 3 trains, on a little bit of an edge on the next 3 trains. So getting 1 or 2 over there quick is seems to be a pretty good strategy. Yeah.
You'll notice how I had a couple of trains in the top left because I was able to get there first, and that got me like 2 whistles. One time got me 3 whistles. Yeah. So and whistles let you move your trains more efficiently than a coal would. Yep. With a whistle, you can move in any direction. With a whistle, you can move two stops instead of just one. Mm-hmm. So it's just more efficient. So getting there early allowed me to move my other trains quicker.
Sure.
So there's a lot of decision points in this game.
Yeah. It was a little thinky. It was a little different than I thought it was going to be. The stock part, I didn't realize just in the little bit I'd seen about the game before that there was this whole stock collection thing, and so that was kind of an interesting twist. It was a cool twist. It was something that I wasn't expecting, but kind of racing for those stocks, trying to get them. When you get the first stocks, you get a lower number, so at the end you look to see who has the majority of each stock, and whoever has the lowest number, if there's a tie, ends up breaking that tie. So it kind of makes it a little bit of a race to get to those different colored stocks to try to get the number one stock, the lowest numbered one, right off the board. So if it ends up in some kind of tie, you've got that tiebreaker built in right from the start. So
yeah, trying to figure out your plan to get to the different towns.
Yeah.
Now, you folks, what you're seeing on the board right now is almost a complete map. It's hard to see because we got our
little bit of a
laptops up
distance
for the
there.
show.
Yeah.
But if you
spaces that are empty.
Rob can pull it up on the BGG stuff.
Yeah, 'cause I can pull up some pictures here.
But when we started this, the board is practically empty. You only got a starter row, you got a middle row, and then you got an end row. So those are the only columns that are set for you to be able to meet. Everything else is open, and I really enjoyed that part of the game because it allowed me to decide what tiles that are in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right, based on what I had in my hand, I decided what I'm going to do with the train because I can almost plot out what resources this track will lay as this train goes down this track on its way to a certain town that requires certain resources.
Right.
So it's kind of like that 3 turns ahead planning.
Yeah.
That I'm not good at.
Definitely a lot of planning going on. Yeah.
But I love how it feels when I get it right.
Right.
Like when it actually works and I get it right, it feels good.
I think the general feeling is like, I don't really know what I got going on in the beginning.
Yeah.
I had no idea where to go, what to do.
Well, obviously worked in the end.
Yeah, you ended up winning. So it didn't work out
we
so
didn't even
bad.
talk about our scores yet. Let's go around the board on the scores. In trailing in complete last place.
Yeah.
Because I really do believe because of the placement of one train.
Yeah, that hurt me for sure.
With 116 points, Robert in second place, and I was leading the majority of the game.
Yeah.
With 151 points is me, Carlos, and the winner with 174 points, who looked like he was doing the worst most of the game.
Yes.
Until about mid-game, late game, William just came back and took it with 174 points. So that was our victory points for our game. I'm not sure if any of you have played it before.
And planning it correctly so that you get all of your 4 off of the board at the very end without, your last train off the board is big because any trains left on the board, as you can, you probably can't see here, but it is a big difference. You get, just for scoring that last train, you're looking at probably 15, 20 points. So just.
Yeah, right here, this one little blue train, that's Robert.
Yep. I had one stuck over on this edge of the board for almost the whole game, and I just put him in a bad setup spot where all he could almost do was go in circles.
We called him the Walt Disney tram.
Oh, yeah.
All he did
little train to
was go
nowhere,
around in
just going
circles.
Yeah, going nowhere.
So the Walt Disney tram.
Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. The tile lading part, again, is an interesting part of it because there is some variable setup. A few of the tiles are predetermined.
There's a lot of variable setup.
Yeah, there's a good
So I'll run you to setup real quick, Rob, because you didn't get to enjoy that part.
Sure, yeah.
So you're going to pick a trading post. You're going to grab a coal yard, right? And then you're going to grab a coal yard and a trading post. And then you're going to get 2 random city tiles, 2 random towns. And then you're going to get a random specialty tile that wasn't already picked, right? But not a coal yard and not a trading post. So it could be the coal mine. It could be a whistle junction, right? So those are the random setups. And then 3 random or regular tiles. And that's going to create that center line. Mm-hmm. So you got a full random creation of the center line. The only thing that's going to be the same on the center line is going to be there'll be a coal yard and there'll be a trading post. There'll be 2 towns. And then from there, it's super random. Okay. And then the end tiles, so the tiles all the way on the west, are going to be, there's 10 of them, and you're only going to place 8 of them. Right. So that will change every game. And then at the beginning, you just get 9 ordinary tiles over on the west. So the west side of the board, the east side of the board where you start, the full right side of the board is going to have 9 random ordinary tiles. Then you take all the remainder, all those specialty tiles, all those other towns, all those marketplaces, and those the general store and the trading posts, all those things that didn't get picked for the center row at the setup, go shuffled into the tiles, and they could come up during the game. But if at the end of the game you're holding on to one of the specialty stops, like this town here, it's going to be negative 10 points for each one you're holding in your hand.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of random setup that dictates how the game will play based on what shows up in the center. Like if there's a gold mine, we didn't have a gold mine show up at all in this game.
Yeah, I think it was like Will looked. It was like the next to last tile in the stack. So I guess there's just the one in the game. So if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. But,
Right.
Okay.
And then you got upgrade tiles, right? So there's a whole stack of these different upgrades. You're only going to get the number of players plus 2. So 2 more than the number of players are going to be how many upgrade tiles are available for the whole game. And it is a closed economy with those. So you can pay the money to buy that upgrade, add it to your train. However, anyone can pay the cost of that upgrade to then take it from you, but they pay the cost of the upgrade plus an extra resource, a rare resource.
Yeah.
That rare resource goes to the player you took it from. So that's
powerful.
it's a closed economy for those, so they're going to shuffle around in their victory points too. So that's going to change the game because there's a whole stack of upgrades that we never even got to see.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I, paying the person for it, I think is interesting because again, that's a lot to give up. I can't imagine, and I will have to play more to see, but for the 3 or 4 or 5 victory points that it's worth, and the small, in my opinion, at least the upgrades that we saw have small effects on the game. They're not huge effects. It seems like it would be pretty rare that you would pay somebody that to get it off of them. So, well, we'll see.
I mean, how many upgrades did you have, William, at the end? Just one?
I had one.
I had one.
I honestly, I had just enough coal to get my last train into port, and I've actually used that upgrade 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, William and I both made it all the way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got one stuck in the middle.
Any other aspects of the game? Any other mechanics or things in the game that I missed? 4 actions. You can only spend 4 tokens. For your turn is going to consist of 4 actions of spending tokens.
You don't automatically get those 4 actions because again, it's all of your actions are based on either spending a coal token or a whistle token. And about half the game, I only had 2 tokens each turn, so I was only taking 2 a lot of times when y'all were taking 3 or 4. So that made a big difference as well.
Yeah, you're limited to the amount of actions you want to take in the following turns, as opposed to taking how many you want to take this turn. So,
Yep.
Anything else that I missed mechanics wise?
Because
Because the rules are not hard.
No, it's pretty simple.
The rules are simple, but it looks like it can be challenging to try to master whatever game's in front of you at the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wayne Kruger in the chat. He says he thought my teach video was well done. Thank you, Wayne. That was probably one of the hardest things I've done in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Teaching is that's not easy.
Yeah.
I got to say the depth of this game is not in the rules or how to play.
No.
The depth really was in how to get all that you wanted done in those 4 actions done to set you up for the next turn, so you're not like stuck like Robert with no coal or no whistles and not able to get your engine going.
Yeah.
So that really felt good. I'm so far first play, right? So we're not ready to give it our final
thought.
You know, we're not going to go on BGG and rate it yet.
Right.
But what we are going to do is play it again.
Oh yeah.
It was good enough. We're like, let's do that again.
Try to squeeze in another one tonight, and it's quick. That's something I don't know we've touched on yet, but it was. I think we were all a little surprised at how quick it went. I mean, we did a 3-player game, and now that we know how to play, I would say we could probably play it in about an hour. So
At 3 players, I definitely think so.
yeah, we could get it in an hour. And so
What are your thoughts? Final thoughts on your first impressions of Whistle Stop?
This is usually not my type of game, but I would play it again.
You walked in here saying that. As I was
like,
teaching them the game.
I don't want to play it. And then I played it. I was like, not because I won. I was just like, oh, well, it's never gonna be the same game twice.
Right.
One. And honestly, one of the things that I realized about the game is whatever you guys do, it's really not much of an interaction with me, but you're interacting with the board, which forces me to interact with that. So I have to work with what you also place as part of the math on the board. Even though everything you're doing is to benefit yourself, I got to try to use that and mitigate that for me. How am I going to use what you place on the board to get me points?
William, you talked about interacting with the board as a way of interacting with the other person,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great because I know that No Chill Will gets triggered whenever there's like real direct interaction, right?
So, yes,
it can trigger some emotions.
If I'm going to get mad, I'm going to get mad at the cardboard now.
Right.
Yeah, so there you go.
So it's you placed a tile somewhere, or maybe you're in my way, kind of Ticket to Ride-ish, where you're in someone's way, but there's no like real direct combat.
Yeah.
So that works out.
Yeah. I like the mashing together of a lot of different game mechanics. That's one thing here. There's a lot different mechanics going on. They're all pretty simple. None of them get too deep. But you've got the resource collection. You're moving around trying to find the best routes to go pick up the resources that you need to then eventually get them to the cities or the towns that you need to trade them in to get the points. You've got the collection of the stocks. So that's the interesting part of it. You got a race, again, to get some kind of the better stocks, the first stocks from each color. And you can kind of see on the board which towns, each town has a color. And so when you go to that town, if you trade in the cubes that the town's looking for, you take that color of stock. So you're kind of racing around the board trying to pick up those. You've got definitely the management of your coal and your whistles, trying to make sure you have the ability to take as many actions as you can each turn. So there's a lot of stuff kind of mixed together there, and I like that part of it, that it's using several different mechanics. So that's cool.
I say thumbs up. Let's play this one again.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.